What's going on, guys? Cate here. Most of you know as Tex here in the shooting world. Today I'm going to put you through about a 150 round high variety training session and do some target analysis, the differences between what things I catch, what things I don't, and so on. So this video is brought to you by LokGrips, Strike 80 Holster, OdinArmory, and BlackMountainDefense, as I'm extremely grateful for my sponsors and their help allowing me to continue pushing my goals and dreams in this sport. Hope you guys enjoy the video. So what we're going to start with here is just a single shot drill. I'm trying to make sure that my dot is still zeroed. I am shooting where I'm aiming and the gun's still good to go and functioning. Once we get through single shots, we'll move into doubles. So with the fans on, you can't really hear what I'm saying here, but the drill that I'm about to perform is just now that I have done single shots out of the holster, making sure that my gun is still zeroed, making sure that I'm shooting where I'm looking. Now we're going to do some follow-up shots, 2 at a time, to make sure that I'm accurate within 2. Go ahead and take a look at that here. Now, as much as I'd love to be just trying to aim for the same little spot here, I do need to be pushing myself, which was this here was 2 of my double action pulls where my first shot went wide, my second shot went to my eyes. That there happened because I'm still working on my double action pull. I hooked it right or hooked it left, but they both were here, and here. These 2, I will tell you, happened when I focused on that draw on really clamping down on my left hand. My support hand clamping down allowed me to, at speed, return to the same exact spot twice. All right, so now that we've gotten the single shots and the double shots out of the way, we're going to start working on transitions. I like to jump right into making it difficult on myself. I don't care so much for open target shooting when it comes to transitions, as it doesn't mitigate any sort of risk. So we are going to do 2 shots middle, 2 shots right, 2 shots middle, 2 shots left, and so on. And we will repeat. So see, that was at a pretty comfortable speed. It wasn't, to me, that's my good speed if I'm really aiming for alphas, but I still will throw a few. See here, this one makes it. It breaks the perf ever so barely, thankfully, but you know, trying not to take those risks, trying to aim for the center of my target here. So to be going here is telling me I'm over traveling that gun. When I'm coming from here, I'm going bang and bang while my hand's still traveling. Now you don't want to take the time to just settle there, but that's kind of one of those balances you're always trying to mitigate. This was a second shot. I'm sure we'd be able to tell which one that was. I went pop just a little too fast, so when that dot went up, before it came back down, I had pulled that trigger again as it went here on the recoil and then here, and I dropped over. And on that next shot, because I was out of control, that's where this one came from. Again, that was here when we started today. That I didn't do, or maybe I did some other time again, but that's when this one happened here, and that one would be a mic. I do not see that breaking the perf. Could call for an overlay, and maybe if they wanted to be really nice to me, they could be, but that's not good practice either way, although that is what I'm looking for, is kind of this and this here. Why did this happen? Those were both the same 2 shots. After the high one here, I was out of control. And instead of regaining that control, now sometimes it'll work out for you depending on the distance, but I pulled Charlie Mike instead of, say 0.2 seconds of time to take to focus on that shot, and it could have been just 2 alpha. And and then if that one Charlie wouldn't have mattered so much. Now that we've done single target to target, we're going to mesh it all together now, and we're going to do short to long transitions and then the full run in a cadence. So I'm going to do middle, left, far transition right a few times, and then I'm going to switch into just going left, middle, right at a cadence speed. So as you can see, that was a little wild. Let's see what it looked like. I know I pulled a few mics here. Luckily, this one actually turned out really well, although I kind of changed up my array here. That one was the one that was there before, but I don't see any more. So all my hits look like they're here. Doesn't seem like that went too poorly. This one here as well, pretty solid. I mean, we're only shooting at about 21, 22 feet, so it really shouldn't be that bad. We threw one more in the Charlie here. That just would have been where I felt that delay here, where I kind of got a little bit of trigger freeze off the double action, went bang, bang. And so when I did get that trigger pull on the single action in the second shot, it came back up. So now over here, here's an issue. So I can tell you coming over here, my eyes were wanting to get drawn to this line so bad. That's kind of why we try to look for that center of the actual available scoring zone. But here, these were, I'm sure, for first shots where I was transitioning over and when my eyes came, I looked right at that black line. So where did they go? Right on that black line. So I have 3 of my first shots here. Definitely, I was kind of calling them as I was shooting them. None of them were on top of each other, as in both were misses. It was a over travel to first shot, second shot. Here, as I came over, my eyes traveled to that line because it's the first thing I saw that was distinctive. That's not what we want. We want to be picking up a spot over here, and then that first shot, bang, second shot, bang, or I went up and just stopped early because that's where my eyes went. So we don't exactly have 25 yards here. I got 50 feet, but I'm going to do a little bit of the 25 alpha drill, which is just mitigating recoil at distance, making sure you're returning back to where you want to be every time at distance. That's one thing that I've worked a lot on this past year, and it has helped me out a lot. For me, I'm a precision person, so being able to be accurate as a distance and something I can get faster with is always going to be something that I try to improve on. So let's see. All right. So we pretty much squeezed them all in. Generally, what I try to do with these, I have very, very, very good eyes. So generally, when I shoot these once, I almost automatically look for something. So I look for a hole. So that first one, I'm kind of really smoothing the trigger pull on so I can do it twice. My first 2 shots actually went here and here. And then after that, I felt myself kind of starting to get a little woozy, which is when I really started to make sure I clamped down on that left hand again. We'll look at the video and see if I can kind of tell. But what I will do is I'm going to do a whole nother magazine of this because you start to hit that breaking point where your hands kind of start to change. You start seeing a lot more movement and you want to start tracking that sight. So me tracking the sight would be these few 3 here. I definitely caught myself doing it, and that's also when I started to start wobbling. If you stare at your part on the target or at your fixed point on the target, your sight's not going to move very much. It's kind of more like this. If you stare at the red dot, it starts doing this. So we're going to do that. We'll do that again. A handful, I don't know, maybe another 12, 14 rounds. We're going to go ahead and do that one again. Let's check her again. Ooh, I felt those. I really did. That's kind of the biggest thing about when you consistently do this stuff is part of learning how to get better is learning to be able to catch and know when this happened. Now, I 100% felt this. This happened towards the very end. I'm hoping when I look up in the video I can see, but my finger was starting to really crowd that trigger. And those last few shots I started kind of seeing going up this way because whenever I overcrowd the trigger, I have extremely long hands. When I start overcrowding that trigger, I start hooking that gun right, like so. So when I first started shooting the shadow, that was my biggest problem is I was shooting high and right all the time because I was just overhooking that trigger. So here was one as well, was me. I know I overpowered with my left hand because I was trying to grip down harder. In the midst, probably about 7-8 shots in, I gripped on and felt that gun drop. My last few shots, I literally just felt go over here somewhere and I watched that one go almost like it was slow motion. But so now what I will do moving forward is I will make sure that when doing this drill, my finger is not starting to lose its way, especially if I got an array of say, 4 or even say an entire field course where we got targets out at 25 or 50 feet or farther. I need to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4. If I need to cadence seek it, but at the same time not be throwing this. This is kind of, this is okay. We can take that, but we're really trying to stay in here. So that was about a 150 round training session today. A little bit more complex, I guess some could say. But we are, trying to push for some mistakes. We're not trying to just be good and look good all the time. But one thing that I have learned a lot of, honestly, one thing that I've learned kind of more than anything in this sport is learning how to balance your skill and learning how to push it, but not over push it. I'm very quick. I'm someone who, when they said push a little harder, put the pedal down, I drove it through a wall, right? I literally used to fall on stages. Nothing ever unsafe. Thankfully, I kept it safe, but I had to really work out of that stuff because it can become unsafe. So learning how to mitigate your own level of growth and your own balance of skill is really the best thing a shooter can do for themselves, at least from my experience is what I found. I put my fair share of time in. I'm constantly trying to grow, constantly trying to learn from everybody else. I'm just a young guy chasing my dreams in this sport, and it's going to take work to get there. I just figured I would share a little bit of my work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more of my training sessions and how I've been what's been working for me, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. Appreciate you guys.